Greetings, programmers. Busted Thumbs back. Welcome to our second edition of the Music Player Studio project. In the first edition, we set up the project a little bit, talked about what it is we wanted to do. And what we want to do today is to start to draw a piano. And you may notice that I put together a little bit of some scripts here in between the first session and the second one. These I didn't want to record these necessarily because I'm actually just about to throw all of these away. I just simply wanted to show you first how the pen works, because we're going to be using the pen quite a bit here. And I just have some sample little script here to show you that you can draw using the pen, and I will walk you through what this does, then we'll throw it away, then we'll start to do the real thing. So what I've done here in my draw piano method is I've put together some things regarding the pen. The pen's up here in this particular section, and the pen, what it does is it simply follows your sprite around and draws a dot of a certain size and a certain color. And as you move that sprite, it just continues to draw as it goes from one position to the next. So let me show you what that means. Right here in our draw piano, we've set the color to this kind of greeny little color. And you can change color pretty easily. You actually just click on that little box, and then you see how it's changing to whatever it is that I click on. I can make it purple by just clicking that, and it's going to be the color where my mouse was at that time. So fine, we'll start with purple. We've set the pen size to 1. That's the number of relative pixels. It's the number of scratch pixels that the size of the dot is going to be. And actually, what I'm going to throw one more little thing in here just to be careful. I'm going to say that we're going to pull the pen up and go to a particular position on the screen. When the pen's up and it moves, nothing gets drawn. When the pen's down and it moves, then something gets drawn. So we're going to go in a little loop here, and this loop simply says put the pen down, go to the right 100 pixels, pull the pen back up, go back to the left 100 pixels, and down 20 pixels. And then we're going to change the size of the pen by 1, and we're going to change the color by 10. So this purple is actually just a number as far as scratch is concerned. And if we change that it by a number instead of picking an actual color, it will just slightly change the shade. So it's going to repeat that 10 times. So what's going to happen is you're going to see 10 lines, and they're just going to get they're going to go down the screen, and they're going to change their color a little bit, and they're going to increase their size by a little bit. So let's go ahead and just run that real quick, and you'll see there you go. So I had a 1 pixel line here, and I'll make this bigger. 1 pixel line, 2 pixel line, 3 pixel line, all the way up to a 10 pixel line. And as you can see, it's rounded at the corner because it was a dot, right? So we took a dot and we drew it across. So we're not getting squares here unless we're at 1 pixel. We're getting round ones. And this looks like more than 1 pixel because when we blow it up, even though we call it 1 pixel, Scratch has just multiplied it to make it fit my screen. So when we say 1 pixel, we don't really mean a screen pixel, we mean a Scratch pixel. This drawing actually happens right on the background. So if I had a sprite sitting here, it would be behind the sprite, but it would be overwriting what my background is. Which means that we can't just get rid of it. And you see that I've set up this second one over here. What this guy's going to do is actually just set the color back to our background color, which is white, and draw white all over that, and it's going to all go away. Okay. So now you know what the pen does. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of those scripts. We don't need those. What we're going to do when we draw a piano is draw a bunch of rectangles. So let's go ahead and make another block here, and we're going to call it draw piano key. And drawing a piano key is going to need a bunch of little parameters. It's going to need to know a number, which is the top. It's going to need to know a number, which is the left. And it can get the width and the height. It could get the width and the height from the white key height, black key height, but it doesn't know what color key it is. So I'm going to go ahead and add to here the width and the height as well. And these are all parameters, and again, we're going to run without the screen refresh. Alright, so we got a pretty big thing over here now, it looks like, but all we really want to do is we just want to draw a square. So the pen says that we got to make sure the pen is up, and we're going to go ahead and set the pen color to black, which is right there. And we need to go to the top left. Okay, so we take our motion, and we go to X is the left, and Y is the top. And then we got to basically draw a rectangle. So we're going to go ahead and put our pen down. Let's also make sure, by the way, that we set our pen size to the right size, which is just 1 is fine. Put our pen down, and then we just simply draw a rectangle. So that means changing the x by the width, and then changing the y by the height. Actually, it's actually -1 times the height because we want to go down. So let's go ahead and add that. -1 times the height. Then we're going to have to go back along the bottom of the rectangle. So we're going to change x again. And this time we're going to need -1 times the width because we're going to go backwards. We're going to go to the left. -1 times the width. And then we change our y again. Right there. And we're going to go up this time, so we don't need the -1, we just need the height. When we're done doing that, let's just lift our pen back up. And that's the rectangle that we want. So when we draw a piano, as I said earlier, there are 55 white keys. That's what we need to draw first. So let's go ahead and put a nice little repeat in here 55 times. And 55 times, we're just simply going to have to draw our piano keys. So we're going to need a variable to keep track of the width that we're at. So let's go ahead and make a variable. It says draw key left. Call it that. Okay. So let's before we get started with that, we're going to make sure our draw key left is equal to our side margin, because that's where we're going to start. And then 55 times, we're simply going to draw a piano key, the white one. And the white one's always going to be at draw key left, is going to be its left, which goes in here. And our top is going to be the white key height minus the margin, the bottom margin. So we're going to start at the bottom of the screen, which is -180. And we're going to move up from there. We're going to add two things to that. We're going to add the bottom margin, and we're going to add the white key height. And that's the top of our piano key. I'm going to move this guy underneath now, just because it's going to get a little bit large. And then the width is the white key width, and the height is the white key height. So we're going to do that 55 times. The only thing that we need to change is this draw key left. That needs to change each time. So we're going to make sure we change the draw key left by the width of a white key width. Just like that. We don't need to show that variable. And let's see what happens when we run this. It went over there. Okay. So that's great, except it doesn't seem to, we seem to have gotten lost a little bit. Our side margins seem to be too much here, which is our left variable. So let's look at what side margins is set to. Set to 5, right? So it's not. That's the problem. I assumed that 0 was the left-hand side of the screen, which is clearly not correct. So what we actually want is not side margins. We want the left side of the screen here minus those side margins, or actually plus, because it's to the right. So it's minus 240. Plus the side margins. Now I'm gonna. The problem is I can't just draw this right now, the piano again, because it will just draw over the piano I've already got. So I need to write something else here. I need to write something that actually clears my screen. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pop this off first. I'm gonna do that in Stage. Actually, I do want to have a little block here that is clear screen. And we're gonna go ahead and run without screen refresh on that one too. Clear screen, I will only pop it in here when I need to just kind of undo the things that I've already done. But clear screen needs to basically just draw white over everything. So we're going to come back in. Oh, you know what? I don't need to do that. I can get rid of, I forgot that one of the things that I can do is just clear. I don't have to write one. So let's just do that. Clear. There we go. And now I can go back here. I thought I was going to have to write that myself. It's great. Scratch has it built in. Let's try our piano again. Go ahead and hit play. Oh, got it. Of course, we have to actually draw it. And there we go. It looks like it's scrunched up towards the end there. And I got to figure out what's going on there. But I'd also wanted to show how we would draw the black keys in there as well really quick. See if we can't do that. I'll at least draw one of the black keys in the time that I've got here. And a black key is just going to simply sit right inside of one of these keys and be halfway in. So if we had to draw all the black keys on all of the keys, I think that's maybe what I'll write. Obviously that's not how it works. Some keys don't have them. But let's just pretend that we had to do it on all of them. Let's go ahead and say repeat 54 because there's one less. And we'll draw a piano key again. This time we need to set the draw key left to a slightly more complicated. We need to start again at the left side of the screen. Oh, and we need to add to it. So minus 240. And then we need to add the side margin in, of course. We don't need to show anymore, but now we need to go about halfway. And actually we need to go less than halfway, but we need to go about a third of the way in between each key just to show that those black keys up. So let's go ahead and say that we want to also move over about 1/3 times the width of a white key. Width of a white key. That's going to offset it there a little bit. And now we just need to do the math on the lefts, the rights, tops, lefts, widths, heights, all of that. So draw key left once again is going to pop into there. But this math is, the top is exactly the same as it was before. So let's go ahead and pop that in. The height is a little bit different, right? It's the black key height. So we need the black key width and the black key height. And I may have to play around with those black key widths a little bit later. And of course this is just going to draw the box. This is not going to fill it in yet, and that's something we're going to have to address as we go on. But we also need to put that one last step in there of changing the draw key left by still the white key width. We're having to move over the width of a white key. White key width, like that. And if I hit that, I don't see the change. It is drawing. It's drawing where it already was drawing. Okay. All right. We're at 15 minutes, and that's where I like to keep these particular videos that I do. I hope see what it is I'm trying to do. I'm trying to draw the boxes for the keys on a piano. And we're not quite there, but it's going to bleed into the next video that we do. And just like anything else, I've written this up. It's doing basically what I want it to do, but I see a few bugs. I'm not seeing my black keys showing up on top of my white ones, and I'm seeing a little bit of scrunching over here, which means my math's probably wrong in a few places. But that's okay. Making mistakes is all a part of writing scripts. And I'll come back and take a look at where I'm doing my math in the next one, and we'll clean it all up. All right? So thanks for listening to this. I hope you got a little sense of what it is to draw. We're going to be doing a lot of drawing as we continue. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.